Welcome to the Business of Beauty, where we help beauty entrepreneurs in building their business and reaching their dreams. This is your host, David Lee. So our guest today started and grew her business with no prior tech, online marketing experience, and no investors. She started the business because of her own struggle with acne and desire to spend more time with her daughters. Her business teaches skincare and wellness pros how to start and grow their herbal skincare business. It increased its revenue 12-fold in 2019 for the Nutritional Aesthetics Alliance with a bare bones launch of the Certified National Aesthetics Practitioner Training Program. Wow, that's a mouthful there. All this with no ads, no fancy email sequences, no affiliates, and no gimmicks, which is pretty rare in this day and age. And her superpower is taking what may seem like out there ideas and turning them into something tangible and valuable that helps people. So I just want to welcome to the show, Rachael Pontillo at Holistically Oat Inc. and the Nutritional Aesthetic Alliance. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Oh, thanks for being on the show. So, wow, this a lot to cover today. So let's start off with, can you tell us a little bit more about the two businesses that you're part of?
Absolutely. So I have Holistically Oat Incorporated, which covers pretty much the Rachael Pontillo brand as it is. I have a blog that has about 700 blog posts that are all about holistic skincare lifestyle. And I also offer some recipes on there, both for food as well as for skincare. And I do a little myth busting when it comes to some of the misinformation that is circulating out there just about what it takes really to have the skin results you want, and also about products and treatments themselves.
Yes.
So, I am an esthetician. I'm also a health coach and a functional nutritional practitioner. So I have a really varied background that goes into the content that I create and the curriculum that I write. So in that business, I have professional skincare formulation courses that are for professionals. A lot of estheticians take my courses, a lot of nutritionists, herbalists, health coach, and my focus really is custom skincare and doing so from a natural perspective using things like herbs, essential oils, carrier oils, botanical extracts, and stuff like that, and doing it in a way that they are just as effective, if not more effective, than the stuff that you see on the spa shelves. And then on the other side of things, I have the Nutritional Aesthetics Alliance, which I am the president and co-founder of. Since 2015, we started that business, and that is a professional certification for estheticians, nutritionists, health coaches who are supporting skincare clients, but are looking to do so in an integrative fashion, covering areas that have to do with diet, nutrition, lifestyle, mindset, fitness, and then of course the topical products and treatments. So we are in our pilot cohort of the Certified Nutritional Aesthetics Practitioner Training Program this year. Okay. And it's really gone fantastically. And the feedback has just been completely wonderful. And the students that we've been able to attract have just been such bright shining stars in this industry. They're doing wonderful, innovative things. And it's really just my pleasure and my honor to guide them.
Nice. So which of your businesses came first?
So Holistically Oat started, I started that blog. It was on an old blogger site that I just kind of I read Blogging for Dummies, and then I read Pro Blogger, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's, click here and drag here, and oh, look how pretty. And so I started that in December of 2010. Okay. And then that slowly kind of evolved, moved it to WordPress, wrote a book, changed it from holisticallyoat.com to rachaelpontillo.com because a lot of people just had a hard time with the mouthful that is Holistically Oat. And, pronunciation issues happen. So I'm like, let's just simplify it. And it was also interesting after I wrote the book, Love Your Skin, Love Yourself in 2013, people still didn't associate me as the author with the
Oh.
brand Holistically like I would get
Oh, okay.
recognized at
Yeah.
shows. They'd be like, "You're holistically hot." I'm like, well, thank you, but my name
Okay.
is Rachael Pontillo.
Yeah.
So I realized that I needed the name recognition since I am an author as well as a curriculum writer and teacher.
Yeah.
So that's when I made that shift. So that came
Okay.
first, and then
Nice.
Nutritional Aesthetics Alliance came later.
Okay. And how did that come about?
That came about actually, well, I personally always have been an advocate for holistic skincare just because that's what helped me. I struggled with acne for more than 20 years of my life. Tried everything. I tried the products at the spa, the treatments at the spa. I went to the dermatologist, got shots in my face, took antibiotics, put antibiotics, used the retinols, everything. And certain things helped for a time, but it would always come back because the cause was internal. And I didn't know that until I started doing some further exploration and reading different books. I did get a really good primer for kind of holistic topics having to do with skincare when I was in aesthetics school, because one of my teachers was an Ayurvedic doctor. And the other one, I remember we would get teenage clients in the clinic who would have really bad acne, and she would tell them, you know, you really should cut dairy or think about taking a probiotic or, you know, stuff like that. So I was just like, oh, that's interesting. So that is what got me started talking about it and writing about it. And then I just, in discovering more to share with people, I discovered more ways to help myself. So then I went back to school several times more for health coaching and then functional nutrition, and continued with herbal studying, and really found that a customized bio-individual approach that really does focus on who the person is and why the skin issue is there in the first place. That is what got me results. And then as I continued to change, as I aged, as seasons changed, I made adjustments, and that way I would continue to have the results that I want. And I'm almost 43 years old. I have better skin than I've ever had. I've never had any injections or fillers or anything like that, and no procedures like that. I don't do peels. I don't do microdermabrasion. I don't do any of that. It's just all really, really targeted ingredient selections in my products, and keeping a really mindful eye on what I'm putting into my body and what's in my environment.
Okay. Nice, nice.
So that's kind of what morphed into the vision for that program, because when I was working kind of as a virtual skin wellness coach, I would call it, I noticed that my clients were getting the same types of results that I was seeing. My skin cleared up after a month of changing my diet and lifestyle, and my clients started seeing the same results. So I'm like, okay, more practitioners need to know about this so that they can help their clients in this way. So my method that I put into the Nutritional Aesthetics Alliance is really teaching all of those facets that are necessary in one's life to get results that don't harm the skin as it tries to address a specific condition, and really have sustainability in mind for results that last just beyond one treatment.
Okay. So now, the Nutritional Aesthetics Alliance is really focused on, in this case, I'll talk about more like target marketing standpoint.
Yeah,
You're focused more on the other aesthetics professionals, right? Getting them certified,
we get primarily licensed estheticians, cosmetologists, but we also get nutritionists, dietitians, herbalists, aromatherapists, basically any skin wellness professional who is supporting a skincare client, whether they're doing so hands-on or through consultation.
Okay. And then your other business or brand, the Holistically Oat, or I guess now it technically has been rebranded to the Rachael.
We could just call it Rachael Pontillo, or Create Your Skincare is the name of the online course where that teaches similar professionals. I like to call them skin wellness professionals or skin wellness practitioners. And that's more focused on how to create and customize an herbal skincare line for your practice, or also if you want to learn how to custom formulate for clients to give them a truly individualized protocol, I teach that too.
Very cool. Very cool. So that piece right there is more focused on the business development piece in the skincare realm, right?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, the Nutritional Aesthetics Practitioner Program, that does teach practitioners how to actually create programs to help their clients in that integrative way.
Yeah.
But the other side is more product oriented and how to get those products out to market and be legally compliant and all that stuff.
Okay. Yeah. The Rachael side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Okay,
Rachael side.
great. The Rachael
Yeah.
side. Nice. So, so you mentioned, or actually I mentioned, but you shared with me that your revenue increased 12-fold for the Aesthetics Alliance side.
Yeah, for the Nutritional Aesthetics Alliance.
Yeah.
We had a bit of a happy surprise over the summer last year.
Yeah. So, like, how did that came about? Like, what did you do to make that happen?
Yeah. So just a little bit of a backstory. The Nutritional Aesthetics Alliance, we started in 2015. I had partners at the time, and then slowly they moved on to other things in their lives. So I have been working on that primarily since 2017 myself. And that, in addition to the other business, plus I have 2 kids, one of which I homeschool. So there's a lot going on. So I kind of had
in itself is like a full-time job, right?
Right. I had to slow the progress of the Nutritional Aesthetics Alliance just because I was spread thin. I had to see, okay, well, I have a lot of students and a lot of interest in Create Your Skincare right now. So let's focus there. And Nutritional Aesthetics Alliance, we were keeping up with blog posts and newsletters just to keep things steady.
Yeah.
So that, it was sustainable, it was not losing any money, and it was being kept afloat. And I was like, I really want to put more time into this.
Take it to the next level.
Yeah, because I just see so much potential there to really get this philosophy out there into the hands of professionals that can help more people than I can individually, because that's really, we want this to be sustainable. So I had a challenging year personally last year where I was diagnosed with Lyme disease. And I was having just really hard time doing any work at all. So the one course, or the Create Your Skincare course, they were pretty sustainable. Like I didn't really have to do much. So then I said, okay, what am I going to do about the Nutritional Aesthetics Alliance? I don't have the energy to do some massive launch or, create a big funnel or do a big ad campaign. And quite frankly, financially, the company wasn't in the position to do so. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I don't want to throw in the towel because I love this company. I stand by what it means and what the goal is and the mission. And I want to see that through. And I made promises, people who had signed up for the membership program, I promised them that there would be a certification, and I don't take back promises. So I said, all right, we're just going to do it. We're just going to put it out there. I'm going to have a webinar. Just a virtual open house webinar, nothing cute. It's not like a webinar class that I'm teaching content and then pitching at the end. The whole thing is just going to be, this is what the course is about. This is who it's for. This is what you're going to learn. I just threw it together on Webinar Jam in the middle of July. I'm like, let's just see what happens. Well, we had a pretty good response. I think it was about 300 people who signed up.
Wow.
And about 100.
Did you charge for the webinar?
No, I made it because it was promotional, so I didn't feel comfortable charging for that. So I made it free. I did not run any ads whatsoever. I didn't do any fancy landing page other than what Webinar Jam provides, which their pages tend to convert pretty well. And I didn't plan out any email sequence or anything attached to that. I was just literally, let's just do it and see what happens. So I had 147 people show up live, which that's pretty good.
That's really impressive. Now, did you have an email list at that point? Did you?
We had an email list.
So, do you have any numbers from a percentage standpoint of like how many people in your list saw your emails and responded and said, you know what, I'm going?
So I think we had about 2,100 people on the list at that time. And I will say, out of those 2,100 people, I'm not sure how many of them were really active and engaged because I hadn't done a list clean out in a while. Which that reminds me, I'm due for one again. It's always good to do that quarterly, right? So I was getting for the Nutritional Aesthetics Alliance list, I get a good open rate. I get around a 27% open rate, which is pretty high.
Good.
people like my emails. So, you know, and I provided a lot of value. We've done a lot for free. We've done a lot of free webinars, free blog content over the years without asking for that sale. So I do think that there is something to be said about consistently providing value and creating community before you ask for that sale. So out of those 2,100 people, about 27% opened that email. I got 300 people signed up for the webinar, 147 showed up live, and over 100, it was like 106 or something enrolled. Right off of that one webinar.
And for those that are listening or watching, those are really impressive numbers. Like if this is your first time like setting up like a webinar, like I remember setting one up and I probably had like 5 people, you know, come.
So
that's more reality.
This was a crazy good response, even though the numbers were not in the thousands. It was really well received. People were really happy. I did, you know, there was a deadline for when they could enroll to get the introductory price. And it was like, I think it was 106 that enrolled after that webinar. And then I just sent the replay out, kept the replay open for 3 days, I think. And I said, let me know if you have any questions. And then I sent just a couple emails. Did you watch it? Do you have any questions? Here's more information about the course that I just copied and pasted literally from the slides. And then just, you know, a couple of those last chance emails like, oh, this deal ends tomorrow. Oh, last day. So it was emails. It was technically an email sequence, but it wasn't one that was planned out ahead of time or strategized. It was just
you're just go. You know, it's like,
let's send an email today based on what happened. I, you know, looked at the analytics from every email I sent. I looked at the survey questions that came in from the webinar. I looked at the questions that were getting asked over email after the webinar. And that's what I used to inform the email content that I sent out leading up to that cart closing. So that was 106 people in July, and it was amazing.
Did your so what was the webinar program again that you used?
Webinar Jam.
Webinar Jam. Did Webinar Jam handle the emails for you from their platform?
No.
Did you use a different email platform for that?
I use ConvertKit for my regular email marketing.
Okay, nice. So and what about the surveys? Did you use ConvertKit for the surveys or a separate program?
Actually, Webinar Jam's really cool because they let you build a survey right into the registration page.
Very cool.
For the webinar.
So then, so it was after the session, Webinar Jam would send out the survey. Is that how it works?
No. So they sign up for the webinar and then they get their confirmation email. And in the confirmation email that gets sent automatically from Webinar Jam, it says, oh, can you take a minute to fill out this survey so that we can customize the webinar for you? And then it saves that information in their analytics session, which is great. And then they send out reminder emails for the webinar itself. And then I sent out the follow-up emails from ConvertKit myself.
Very cool. Now, so how long was the webinar itself? Was it 30 minutes or an hour?
It was about an hour content with, I think we had about 20 to 30 minutes of question and answer after that. So I did it live.
Yeah, an hour and a half. Now, you mentioned there was special pricing. So I'm assuming you ran a promo, right?
We did. So I offered the entire course for $777. And the regular, I said, you know, the price is going to go up to $1,297. After this is a super early bird promotion. It's July now. The course starts in September. So save your spot now. So that was at $777. And I have those people. And then in September, I did another virtual open house webinar again. And the promotion was, I think, the price is $1,297. There was a payment plan available, and I offered another bonus. I think it was either a call with me or something like that for people who enrolled at that time, and I got 36 more at that time at full price.
Oh wow! Okay, so you got signups in the beginning, you know, and then you also got signups,
and then right before it started in September.
Right before, Very cool. Now during that period, so this first webinar was it July? July, and then your launch of your program was in September. Right? So between these two periods, did you do any more webinars? Did you do any more promos?
No, just sent out regular emails to stay in touch with people. And, you know, I didn't even have the sales page up on the website right away. And even now, like the website's about to get redone because I just brought on a new web guy and he's like, that sales page is terrible. That's just text. You have no graphics. I'm like, I know, I just threw it up there to have a payment button. So that's all getting a little facelift. Okay. But yeah, it was just, I kind of let the response from everything guide my next step, Very cool. Which it really took me back to when I first started everything. That's how I used to do it. That's how I started selling my courses back in 2013, 2014, when I started teaching online. And it was later then I learned about more complex marketing strategies that involved more steps and more systems and all of that, which, you know, it's great to have different campaigns, different funnels, run ads, do, you know, really targeted SEO and content marketing and all of the things. But what this told me is that, you know what, that's all great, but it's not everything. And sometimes just taking it back to basics and being really clear on what you're offering and who it's for and how it's going to help is what's needed.
Yeah. And one of the things I talk about to some of the other entrepreneurs and other guests too is what you've done is essentially create like the MVP, like the minimal viable product. You know, no bells and whistles, because imagine if you did, right? Your timeline would be stretched out, or, you know, for other people, they might not have the determination or the drive to like, oh my God, I got to build all these automations. I got to build all these funnels. I got to build this list. I got to do all that and run these ads. Next thing you know, like, you know what, forget about it. I will do it next year, right?
Right. Or you do it, you invest all that time and tech and money and resources, and then the course doesn't sell, or it sells, but it's not what people need, and then you have to redo it anyway. So, you know, one of the first mentors I worked with about online courses in general and marketing, digital marketing in general, is like, just sell the thing. And then build it based on what people are experiencing and what feedback you're getting. Very and then you just continue to build it out and you continue to improve it and all of that. But that pilot cohort, they always get the special treatment because they're the first ones. They're the way showers, and they're the ones who are putting their trust into me.
They were the pioneers.
Absolutely. So I reward that. I reward early adopters and really people who have that motivation and take that initiative.
So now, that was in 2019, right? And 2020 hit, right? Now, before March of 2020.
Sure did.
What was going through your mind December of 2019 or January of 2020? What was going through your mind at that time?
Well, I typically do launches in the new year and then in the fall. And sometimes I'll do like a midsummer thing. Obviously last year it worked out well. I did do like a little Black Friday and a little holiday thing, but it was a little bit smaller. I think people are just so distracted around the holidays. They're not really thinking, I'm going to buy an online course now. It's more like, training, where's the new iPhone? What?
I got to go shopping for gifts, right?
Exactly. So even though, you know, I have done kind of Black Friday and holiday themed sales before, it hasn't really made that much of an impact because I'm offering continuing education. I'm not offering
if you're offering like a product
that you give to your mother.
Exactly.
So, you know, I'm used to slowing down a little bit in December and January, but then typically you know, after, I would say when the sun starts coming out again and people kind of get out of that winter funk, then it's like, that's when I usually kick in again. So I, you know, usually have like a March launch of my Create Your Skincare courses. Well, we did that and it was really slow. I just think that online marketing trends in general have really changed. The social algorithms have changed. And also it was brought to my attention by one of my team members that, you know, in terms of Facebook ads, there's a lot of competition this year because it's an election year. You know, there's only so much real estate in someone's Facebook feed. And obviously the highest bidders are going to be getting that space no matter how targeted you get. So I have heard that since the pandemic, Facebook ads have been doing a little bit better, but I haven't I haven't been launching. we're
Yeah.
promoting
Okay.
heavily
Okay.
during this time, just
Yeah.
because I want to be sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I've just kept up with the content because content is always queen, and content is what keeps people coming to your website. So I've just been working on driving traffic and nurturing my email list as much as I can. I've been participating in a lot of free opportunities, some summits, podcast episodes like this. I've been doing a lot of PR. I've been on TV 22 times since December.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm really just trying to spread awareness of what I teach, how I want to support people, what my perspective on skin health and skin wellness and skincare really are, so that it would drive back traffic. So that was how I kind of chose to spend my time when sales were at a little bit of a lull. And then I realized, you know, even before the pandemic hit, I'm like, I'm gonna have to change how I'm doing things because the results weren't as great. Yeah. So now we're kind of at a different place now, and we don't really know quite what's next, but I'm hoping that, you know, my audience members, a lot of them are going to be able to get back to work soon, so that, I mean, they want to work. They want to go back to work. They want to help their clients, and they want to learn. So interestingly, I've had a lot of interest come in for the Nutritional Aesthetics Alliance course during the pandemic. So I have continued to get new students just because people have found me and wanted to sign up. So that's been great. And then Create Your Skincare, I'm actually pivoting a little bit to create a lower priced offering that hopefully we'll be able to get out there within the next month. And then a DIY skincare membership program for consumers, because one thing that happens when you go on TV is you get a bunch of consumers who follow you. So I want to have something for them too.
Very cool. Now, since you mentioned, since you mentioned like being on TV now, how did you find those opportunities, or did the opportunities find you?
So being on TV and just getting press in general is not hard, but it takes the right connections, and you have to be persistent. You have to send emails, you have to follow up, you have to constantly come up with new and interesting angles on things, because people don't want to put someone on television who's saying the same thing as somebody else. So they want something fresh, and they want something timely. So I work with a really wonderful PR coach who's been guiding me on all of that, how to find contacts, when to send emails and stuff like that. So she's been helping me with that strategy. So even though I can take credit for booking myself and sending the emails and the follow-ups, she's really been the one who's helping me with strategy and helping me find contacts. So
it's mostly emails. I mean, do you use Twitter? Do you use LinkedIn? Do you use social media?
So yeah, you can use social media to connect with people and to research, you know, who might be covering your topic for this network, who might be the producer for this show, who might be the writer that writes for this website, who covers your beat. Definitely using Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn for that. That's definitely a great way to find contacts and just start genuinely connecting with people, see what they're posting, see what they're interested in, see what you have in common, start having conversations so that they think of you and that it's authentic. It's not just, oh, I'm following you on social media, now I'm going to send you a bunch of emails. It's, that's
just
not
actually
cool.
have a conversation, be relational,
get to know the person, put the effort in. And I've found that that's really broadened my network, and it's also brought an element of fun back into my business. Because I mean, I'm sure you know, and I'm sure your listeners know, that when you do the same thing for a while, it can get a little bit boring sometimes. You kind of fall into a rut, a lot of repetition, especially if something you've been doing for a while is changing and it's not working as well. So this really just like lit a new fire in me. I'm like, ooh, this is something I really enjoy. And even though it's a lot of effort, I'm going to continue to do it as long as I'm seeing benefit from it. So I've seen increases in book sales from that. I've seen increases in my social media following, not just in numbers, but also in engagement. And definitely
that's really the key.
Engagement is everything. But what's really great too is that on days that my segments do run, I can track increased website traffic and increase book sales.
Very cool.
So it really does help, even if it's not going to necessarily right away be someone who's like, I want to invest in your course because I saw you on TV. It's not always
that easy,
roundabout like that, but it is another way to reach people from a platform that is not everybody can get into. So earned media really does have a lot of value.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, what are your plans for the next year, 3, 5 years out?
Oh my goodness. So over the next 6 months, so, you know, I'll let your audience know if there's any estheticians, who I'm sure there are, cosmetologists, anybody who might be interested in the nutritional aesthetics practitioner training program. I am going to do another launch in July. We are going to do probably another webinar, and there will be some sort of incentive because we are raising the price in September now that the first round is ending, and we're going to update the textbook and update the website. So tuition is going to increase for September. So there will be one opportunity in July to get in at our current pricing. So that's something that's coming up in the next few months. Create Your Skincare is both of my classes. So this is, some people should know that I teach live. Yes, the classes are online and all the videos and everything are stored online, and there's workbooks you can download, but I actually have live classes over Zoom with my students. So I teach live between September and June. I take a little winter break, and then I take summers off just like a regular college would do. So all my live courses for both my classes, all my live calls for both my courses start up again in September. So if anybody is interested in learning, there will be some opportunities to do so, and I will be running some promotions. But I would say, you know, over the next year, I'm really looking forward to just continuing to explore different ways for me to just continue to get out there as a thought leader myself and educate about what I love, what I'm passionate about in a way that helps people. I'm really passionate about supporting other business owners in addition to their clients. But, you know, I'm someone who came into this as a young mother. I wanted to be home with my kids. I had my aesthetics license, but none of the spas around me had the holistic mindset that I was looking for, or were able to offer a schedule that fit in with my life. And I was not in the position to open my own. So I had to decide what I was going to do with this knowledge in a way that could create an opportunity for myself, because I had to do something. I wanted to contribute to my family financially in addition to raising my children. So I decided to start it online, and that's what happened. And I learned what I needed to learn along the way. I invested in courses, I invested in mentors. I was self-taught for certain things. And then usually I would try to fix something, but ended up breaking it worse. And then I would have to hire somebody to help me with it. But you learn from all of that.
Sometimes that's like one of the best ways to learn. You know, you feel you get the experience, you feel the pain, and you won't forget it.
That's right.
Sure. And about that too, I've noticed you mentioned a few things like, sure, you know, like your business, you know, you're the sole owner of both the businesses, right? But it doesn't mean you're alone. And I just want to let viewers and know that, like, starting a business can be, it can feel like a lonely journey. Like even your sometimes your spouse, your close friends don't get it. Don't understand.
They're like, why didn't you just get a job?
Right? Get a job, right? It's like so
even
easy.
Years later.
It's so safe, right?
But
that's not really the reality.
No, it's hard work.
It's hard work. But also it doesn't have to be lonely. And also, some of the things you mentioned, okay, you have a web guy, you have a PR person, like, can you share a little bit more?
Virtual assistant.
So your team, that's part of your businesses, right? That kind of help you through.
Currently I have 2 different web people, one for each company. I like to keep certain things separate. And I have virtual assistants as well who help with things like filtering emails, handling tech support requests, customer service issues. When somebody fills out a contact form on a website, it goes to them, and then they decide what to do with that email, if it's something that needs to be brought to my attention, or if it's something that is a general inquiry that she can answer.
Yep.
I have someone helping me with social media content. So basically she combs back through old blog posts, pulls out something that makes sense for what I happen to be focusing on that month editorially. And then she creates a series of posts with the graphics and with the posts, and then she researches the hashtags and handles the analytics for the social media and helps to track engagement and all of that. So yeah, I have a small team. I've had a bigger team in the past, but I found that I personally don't want to have too many cooks in my kitchen. I like to be able to have everyone kind of together as a tight-knit group where everybody knows what their role is. We're working together. I'm managing, but my people know what they're doing. They don't have to come to me for every little thing. We have planning meetings, and then we check in with each other. We have a project management program called Asana that we use to just kind of keep in touch so everybody knows who's working on what and what the status is. And so I did not have any virtual help until the end of 2014. So I launched the first version of Create Your Skincare online in 2014, and I built the website myself on WordPress using Optimized Press and Optimized Member. And I always used to joke that that thing was held together with peanut butter and Band-Aids. Because even though I was able to figure out how to build it, I made it look really nice. I mean, nobody would have thought that a non-designer did this. But when something broke, I couldn't fix it. So that was the first time I hired someone to help me on the tech side of things. And then after that, when that course started to grow, and I would wake up to a lot of emails from students just asking different things, either something tech-wise, if somebody lost a password or something, or if, they had just a question about the content.
And you're trying to do other things. You're like, oh my God, I need to focus on my core business, not on, trying to troubleshoot a password or figure out, what went wrong on the website. Right. Yeah.
And what's interesting is, when you have online courses and when you do teach live, you're delivering the course at the same time as you're still creating content. And then you still have to do everything on the back end of things, all the behind the scenes. Because if you're only focusing on, if all I was doing was teaching courses, I wouldn't have any students because I wouldn't have any traffic coming to my website. It's not this magical, if you build it, they will come thing where, everybody automatically knows to just go to your website and sign up. No, it's my responsibility to put my products and services in front of my people where they hang out online. That's my responsibility. And that takes a good deal of work on the back end of things that people don't realize. It's, I think there's this, because the internet gives us so much instant gratification, sometimes it's easy to forget that human beings actually are who create this content and who build it.
And it takes time to build it, not overnight, right?
It takes a lot of time and testing things to see what sticks and what doesn't. So it really is important to find a balance between working on your business, working in your business, and getting support wherever you need to. So if there's something that you're not good at and it would take you forever to even try to do it a little bit good, that's something to hire out.
Absolutely. And I would even argue, like, even if it's something that you're really good at, but it doesn't give you a good return on investment, then sub it out or hire someone that can do it. Even though you're good at it, I'm sure there are others that can do it just as well, if not even better, over time. And faster, right? So you're freed up to do what's most important for your business. So the way I look at it is like, the business is like your baby. You want to take care of it, and whatever the baby needs, you want to give it, everything you can. So I love what you're doing. Just kind of you're not trying to do everything yourself. And a lot of startups, a lot of new businesses out there, that's what they're trying to do in the beginning. And that makes sense. There's bootstrap.
And that's good. Right? And I will always say that you should know what's going on in your business.
Absolutely.
You should know how your website works so that when you're talking to a web person,
Yeah, you're not
You're
oblivious
speaking the
to.
same language, and
Yes,
you're less
yes.
likely to get taken advantage of that way. Because
Yep.
there are,
But
unfortunately, people who take advantage of people who are like, yeah, I want to do this, and I think I can do this, and
yeah.
that you
And next thing you
have to
know, you
be
get this
aware.
giant bill, right? And then nothing,
Yep.
you're not getting the results that you need. It's just, it's
Yeah.
like that careful balance, and I can say the other end too. Sure, if you try to do it yourself for far too long, you're keeping your business from growing. It's not
You are.
scalable, right?
Right.
So like what
Because you
happens
only
with,
have so many hours in the day.
exactly.
And like I said, like I tend to get bored with myself. I need to change things up. I need to try
Yeah.
new things.
Yeah.
I come up with new ideas that I want to move on. I have to be
Yeah.
able to have everything else sustained so that I can explore that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we can
exactly.
only do so much. And what we really need to focus on are what are the things in our business that we and only we can do and nobody else can do. That's your first priority. And then everything else usually can be delegated.
Yeah. So let's shift gears a little bit, and we kind of talked about this a little offline.
Yeah.
Now we talked about, we see these crazy ads, right? They're kind of almost gimmicky sometimes, and then in the background sometimes it's a Lamborghini or some kind of crazy fancy car.
They're at the
They're in this
beach.
mansion, right? Or at the beach, right? With their martini or their whatever.
Yeah. Laptop
fruity
is
drink.
there, martini,
Yeah.
beach. It's like,
so that is the picture that they paint for entrepreneur. Like, if you start this program, if you do this,
follow my formula exactly, and you will
it's
get
gonna be like that.
6 figures in 6 weeks.
Right? Yeah. It's a crazy thing like that. So what are your thoughts on that?
I think that a lot of it is really deceptive. A lot of it is created by people who are capitalizing on people who are new to this and who have that dream of financial freedom and a flexible schedule and work smarter, not harder, and all of that. And they put really carefully targeted Facebook ads, and you're going to see it and you can be like, that sounds good. I want to do that. And then you do this program. And while the content in the program might be very good and might have worked for that person or a certain amount of people, there's no secret formula or magic formula that's going to get you a successful business, because so much of it has to do with your own mindset and your own habits and your own motivation and dedication and commitment to your business. It doesn't matter how much you spend on programs and mentors and coaches if you're not actually going to buckle down and do the work. And that's just the way it is. And then even after you've done that work, if something changes in the market, you have to pivot. You have to meet that change. You have to come up with a new idea. And if you can't think on your feet and a little bit outside of the box and roll with the punches and adapt to whatever situation, you're not going to be successful. And that is not something that those programs can teach. That's something that comes from within you. Not everybody is meant to be an entrepreneur, and that's okay. Some people are very happy getting a job as an employee where they have a lovely benefits package and they get a nice steady income and health insurance and that sounds good.
And to add on to that, and if they think like running a business will make you rich, you're better off working a 9-to-5. Okay. Trust me, you're gonna make more money, especially in the early 10 years. Okay, you're gonna make a lot more money. It's not like a lottery ticket when you start a business. As a matter of fact, you take on more risks. But the whole idea is you're trying to minimize it as you grow, right?
And to that point, you hear these statistics about people who win the lottery and then they go bankrupt within a year because they don't have the mindset. They don't have a mindset to know how to handle having that money. They don't invest it properly. They don't forecast. They're not responsible with it. It's the same thing. Like, say you do put together an offering and you have a launch and you get a huge response. You get 6 figures. You get all this. It happens. The miracle has happened. But then if you don't know, okay, well, what's next? What's the big picture?
How do I keep it going? Right?
How do I leverage this? You're gonna lose it. So it's not just about the launch. It's not just about reaching 6 figures or 7 figures or whatever. And this is something that Another mentor of mine made this point at a conference a few years ago, and this really stuck with me, that, when you're first getting started, you might be kind of freaking out like, oh my God, that thing costs $100. How am I I don't have $100 right now. So then you get that $100 and you proceed, and then you come up with another thing that's $1,000 that you want to invest in for your business. And you're like, oh my God, that's $1,000. I don't think I can afford that right now. So you keep working, and then all of a sudden you have that $1,000. And then all of a sudden you want something that's $10,000. There's always going to be something that's out of reach. And every time you add a zero, it's still going to be that feeling of, how am I going to get that money? So you can't let that overwhelm you, because there's not a destination where you're going to be like, I have made my 6 figures. I'm done now. We're good. We cool. Once you get to that level, to stay there and to keep growing takes continued effort and continued investment of time and energy.
And you look at any of the successful entrepreneurs. I mean, you look at the biggest. I mean, who's some of the richest people, right? You got like Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, right? I mean, they haven't really stopped working. They're still following their dreams, building their passion. Like they're multi-billionaires, right?
And sure, like they probably don't have to go to work every day.
No way. They don't
but they get to choose. That's the point. They get to choose. Even look at Louise Hay, who, Hay House founder. She passed away recently, but she worked in some capacity and was public facing in some capacity right up until very, very shortly before she passed away. But it was her choice to do so.
I love it. I love what you're sharing here. And you mentioned a few times of mentors. So, and I believe that is a crucial piece to growing your business. How do you find your mentors?
So there's another saying, and I forget where I heard it first, but it basically comes down to, if you see something you want, find someone who has it, do what they do. And if you can find someone who has what you want, who is willing to teach you and take you under their wing, even better, because then they're invested in your success as well, because they feel like they had a hand in it. So, there's definitely ways you can do that. You can make connections on LinkedIn. You can meet people at conferences. In some ways, it's similar as to what we were talking about with building press relationships authentically, is just connecting to people, taking a genuine interest in what they do and starting to connect with them that way. Or if you go to conferences, just networking, that is another way to do it too. I will say it's really difficult to find free mentorship these days. It used to be where, a mentor would just take someone under their wing, and that's how it is. And now there's usually some sort of a fee for that. And I do think that there's something to be said for that, because oftentimes when something is free, we don't value it as much. So if we do have a monetary value on something, we are maybe more incentivized to work for it and to do that person proud, as well as do ourselves proud. So I've invested in coaching programs, masterminds that have been led by either people who have been successful as female entrepreneurs who are also mothers, which that's me, or they've been a little bit more specific to my industry, but not exactly my industry. So it's good to find mentors, both who are in your industry, but also who maybe fit your lifestyle and understand some of the challenges that you go through, so that they can help you work through those. I mean, this is something that, when I was looking for a mentor, I found mentors in my field, kind of that, skincare, wellness, functional nutrition type of field, that were really successful and had a lot of great ideas. But some of them were in their 20s and never had children. So it's like, okay, well,
it's hard to relate, right?
You have a very different lifestyle. You have a very different set of responsibilities than I have. So then I joined this other group where it was all moms who had, businesses, and they were doing both. They were raising kids and running their businesses and growing their businesses at the same time. So that was a really interesting perspective too, because when we talk about things like dealing with distractions and what happens if you have the most perfect time management schedule laid out, but then, your kid is sick.
A baby starts crying.
Right. I mean, my gosh, I've been on Skype calls where, when my kids were really young, I remember I was teaching a live class to a group of ladies in Alaska via Skype. And all of a sudden I start hearing, mommy, 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 and then there's a toddler there yelling at me. I'm like,
Yeah.
excuse me, I'll be right back. And I mean,
yeah.
and I think we're starting to see that a lot more now because everybody's working from home.
Yeah.
And, you know, we see animals in the background or kids in the doorway, and it's becoming a little bit more real.
Yeah. But before it was still new, and of course, you know, you want to project as professionally as possible, not a toddler screaming at mommy in the background.
Yeah, it's like, it's hard to be like, hold on, ladies, I'm going to go yell at my children. I mean, you know, it was, there's a lot, you know, when you are a parent and you have kids at home, whether they're younger or older. Both my kids are teenagers now. So now I deal with, you know, one might be doing school, one might be watching TV. I have my older daughter's really into cosplay, so she's like walking around the house with a wig and you know, all of these different things going on. And now that they're both doing school at home, I'm having to make sure that they're doing what they need to do for school. So it's really a lot that goes on, which, you know, if you do have a family, it might impact your ability to grow your business, because if you don't have help and if you don't have guidance and support and kind of people to just vent to who get it, it really can, to your point earlier, it can seem very isolating. So I really do recommend listening to podcasts like this and finding your community of people who kind of get what you're doing and can support you.
Yeah. So it's not like there's a magical place, you know, so thank you for sharing, you know, so much more. You know, looking for a mentor, meaning, you know, like it's not just one place, it could be anywhere. It could be at a conference, right? I mean, right now this year, you probably won't go to many conferences. But, you know, it could be online, could be, you know, making connections through others, but constantly be open to the idea of finding a mentor or more than one mentor, but also be willing to invest in it, both your time and money. Because I look at some of these things like, man, if I could have found a mentor early on in my career, early on in my business, I would be happy to pay, you know? And I think about how much college tuition costs, right? How much just a course costs. And not saying college isn't important, but when you have a mentor that you found that pretty much fits perfectly like a puzzle piece to what you're trying to do and right to your next step, and with the information that you get and from your mentor, you're able to go immediately to step 2 and step 3. That's more valuable to me than actually a college course.
Absolutely, because they've been through it themselves. They've gone through that challenge. They've overcome it. This is what they did. This is, you know, that is so valuable. And, you know, it's something that it's a role that I take really seriously with my courses. I offer mentorship calls to all of my students because I feel like that's really important. And, you know, when all this happened, the first thing I did was I gave a free webinar on how to take your practice virtual because I had experience in that and I was able to share that. I didn't, it was all in my head and I was just able to talk to people. And it was, they really just appreciated that.
Top 3 tips on what they should do right now, going through the pandemic, I guess.
Yes. All right. Top 3 tips. So first of all, first tip is think about what skills you have in your experience. What education have you already had? What skills do you already have? And it doesn't have to necessarily be tech skills. What were you good at in high school? For me, when I first started this, I had no tech experience, but I knew I was a really good writer. I'd always been a really good writer. So I started with a blog and then it grew from there. Other people might be really good with video or taking pictures. So start with what you're good at, what skills you already know you have. And then think about how can you use your knowledge, your training. So say you're an esthetician and you can't do facials right now. Okay, well, what are some other things your clients are struggling with right now that they're at home that you could provide them guidance on? What problems can you still solve for them even if you can't have your hands on their face? offer those as virtual sessions. Start by emailing your list of clients that you already have. Let them know, hey, I'm thinking about you. I want to open as soon as I'm legally allowed to, and I can't wait to see you. But in the meantime, how can I support you? And just reach out to your network and offer to help them virtually in the meantime. So that's tip number 2. And really, for me, tip number 3 is just ride the wave. Follow your experiences as they unfold and let them guide you to your next experience. Sometimes we come up with this big, complex plan, and then if something goes differently, we can't get back on track. So sometimes an experience might lead us to another opportunity. Sometimes opportunities can come as distractions, and we have to decide, okay, well, is that really going to take me to my big picture, or is that going to veer me off in another direction? But in a time like this, sometimes that other direction is a good thing, because the big picture, as we might have planned it 6 months ago, well, the pandemic has changed that for the majority of people. So we have to veer off. We have to take the scenic route. We have to think, again, outside of the box and come up with something new. And if it feels good, just go with it. So
I love that.
Don't give up. Don't give up, and don't go into victim mentality, because we're all in this. Like, all of us are struggling in some way with this pandemic right now.
And it's hard to get out of it sometimes too, because when you look at Facebook and you look at other social media platforms, people like to complain a lot.
They do.
And we hope that, by watching this, we're doing the exact opposite of that to fight that noise, right? There's no time to complain. If you talk to any successful entrepreneur that's been through, like hell and back, they don't really complain. Okay.
Right.
They fight through it.
They find a new way.
Right? They figure it out. They find new ways, right? They innovate. So whenever there's difficulty, but there's also opportunity that comes up.
It's really true. And those who come out of this are the ones who were able to think quick and try something new and not get stuck in that analysis paralysis. Just pick something and go with it. If it doesn't work, great, go with something else. That's what we have to do. I've been telling my students, yes, there is a time to grieve for what happened, but don't let yourself do that for too long, because now is the time to rally. Now is the time to rally. And you know what you create now in terms of a virtual offering before you can open your doors again, that can be an additional revenue stream for you even after you do open your doors. And then look, realistically speaking, something like this is going to happen again in our lifetime. Whether it is a disease or a war or something environmental with all these storms and earthquakes and tornadoes and everything, we have to have a backup plan. We can't be caught unaware.
And also to add on to that, let's just say the lockdown is all over tomorrow. Okay. That doesn't mean all your clients are going to come to your facility tomorrow. That's
right.
Okay.
A lot of people are still really afraid.
Exactly. They're still afraid. They want to stay home. Maybe they have young kids, right? They don't want to, it's not like the disease disappeared or the virus disappeared. It's still there. So that's why what you're building virtually now will go beyond the end of the lockdown. And like
it shouldn't just be considered your emergency thing that you're doing right now. It should be something that you keep going so that you already have those systems in place if and when something were to happen again, because we just don't know how this is all going to unfold or how long it's going to take. And honestly, I don't see us going back to what we remember as normal. I think it's going to be a new beginning of something different.
Yep. The world, I mean, it's already changing. You hear it on the news, you see what businesses are doing. They're even changing the layout of the space, with social distancing. So all these things are changing. We just have to adapt, or else, I mean, look at it this way. I mean, when they invented cars, right? We don't see many horse and buggies anymore, right? So this is part of the evolution, right? This is part of it. Now that we've gone through this phase in the world, we just have to be prepared for the next chapter.
Yeah, we can't be attached to the past and how things were or what plans we had that are no longer, because that's not going to do any of us any good, and it's not going to change the situation we're in. All we can do is assess the situation we're in as as it, relates to us and our community,
Yeah.
and make decisions based on that. Make decisions based on what are you good at? What can you offer? What problems can you still solve for your people? And how can you communicate that to them?
Yeah, I love it. And well, you know what? We've taken a lot of your time, so thank you so much for being on the show.
That
And
was
it
really fun. Thank you.
it really shows that you know your stuff. You're a great educator, communicator. How can our audience, our viewers, reach you and learn more about your programs too?
Okay, so if you are interested in just connecting with me, learning more about what I offer, just kind of as an entryway into everything Rachael, just go to rachaelpontillo.com, and that links out to everything else that I do. If you're specifically interested in learning to make skincare products or start a skincare line, go to createyourskincare.com. And if you're interested in adding nutritional aesthetics, which is an integrative approach to skincare, to your practice, if you're a skin wellness practitioner, it's nutritionalaesthetics.com.
Okay. And
We have a membership program and online course there.
very cool. Very cool. And no worries if you didn't get all that written down. It will be in the resource area of the page and also in the description. So don't worry about that. So again, thank you so much for being on the show. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show and the episode. And we'll see you next time. Bye.